Eric Guster, I mean, there must be a part of you that, as a Democrat, feels catastrophically disappointed by Joe Biden.
I'm catastrophically disappointed that Trump is even thinking about running again, because this is bringing back the racial tension that our country has had, the actual racial tension that he stoked, and that's his base. I am happy about a lot of things that Joe Biden is doing. We are on the road to recovery from COVID, the same disease that Donald Trump said would just go away when the summer came. So we have a lot of things that the country is working through. And fortunately, we are doing a great job in getting those things in order.
He did develop the vaccines, though, didn't he?
Didn't who?
Trump.
No, the pharmaceutical companies developed the vaccines. And it's very interesting you mentioned the vaccines, because Trump's base are the people who are not being vaccinated. And it's very interesting that you mentioned that, because Trump himself did not come out and encourage people to take the vaccine. Many of his supporters refused to wear masks to protect people and others. He did not come out and say, please take this vaccine so that our country can get back on the right track. But his supporters are the ones who are really in the high unvaccinated rates that are endangering our country.
Sean Spicer, I guess you would say he definitely took a different approach to Democrats and liberals. He doesn't believe in vaccine coercion, but it was under the Trump administration where these vaccines were developed.
Operation Warp Speed, cutting through the government red tape and bureaucracy is what got us to where we are. At the end of the day, that wouldn't have happened without Trump insisting that people bust through all of the bureaucracy that exists in record speed. But I will argue, I mean, he made it very clear he got the vaccine. He did encourage his people to do it. He doesn't believe in mandates. I think that is a big difference. And I think a lot of people would agree with him in this country. But at the end of the day, I mean, I think he should be rewarded for the fact that we wouldn't be where we are, not just as a country, but frankly, as a world, if Trump hadn't encouraged the private sector to do what they did. They couldn't have done it without him. I mean, there's no way the CDC, the FDA, all the other agencies that are involved in that process would have never allowed it to move forward the way it did if it wasn't for the way that Trump conducted himself. And at the end of the day, yes, he did encourage people to get vaccinated. He made it very clear that he took the vaccine himself. But he also made it very clear that at the end of the day, there is something inherently un-American about forcing somebody to put something in their body.
Eric Guster, do you worry that the fact that the social media companies and the mainstream media are desperate to silence Trump, do you worry that that's actually going to make him more powerful?
People are not trying to silence Trump. We're trying to stop racism. And it was very interesting what Spicer just mentioned.
Social media companies have silenced Trump.
Well, when you start stoking racism, start encouraging violence, free speech stops there. If I tell people to go beat you up on the street, then they will shut me down. They will flag any of my posts. So you can't have someone who was involved in January 6th and the insurrection, who was encouraging people to do those types of things at our Capitol, and the Republicans were cowering in a corner, but all of a sudden trying to stand bravado now. You can't have someone who's doing that regardless of their position, whether the president or they're the garbage man. We have to have civility in our country, and Trump being really the bottom of the gutter when it comes to certain things, he should have been silenced on some of those platforms. Absolutely.